Good morning, everybody. This is Canal the Side. This is Canal the Side. Yo, I'm on my laptop, so it's gonna be all fuzzy, and I'm not gonna probably be as beautiful as I normally am. Let's do this. I got colors in the street, red, white, and blue. What's up, everybody? What's going on? All right, give me 1 second, dude. I'm in Colorado over here, and everything's a little trying to get a little trouble. Get my other monitor set up. Whatever. Wait. Oh, there's my bang. Give me a rundown. What did I miss yesterday? Any excitement? Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I got my glasses on. No, it ain't right. It ain't right, that's for sure. Yeah, I gotta hook this new monitor up. You know what? Has anybody ever noticed that there's like different types of USB-Cs? Like some of them connect to monitors and some of them don't. It's not ideal. Bam. Ba, 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 ba. Oh yeah. Oh, we're in the game, buddies. We're in the game. We are in the game. All right. I got one thing to do here. Let me just set these monitors up and then we party. All right. I got one here. One here. 1, 2, 3. All right. We in. I had all these monitors crisscrossed around. What I use is these Dell USBs. They're nice, but they are like a little bit, I would say, finicky. I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah, they can be like a little bit finicky at times. All right, let's get to work, people. I'm excited. Okay, okay. There we go. Just opening up my TC2000. I just had it open. Yeah, you know the one thing I don't like about laptop life is like, you don't use it for a while. Like all morning I was doing updates and all this kind of bullshit. Mr. Hull, what's up, baby? How you doing? All right. We're in it. Let's do the Lord's work, guys. Let's do the Lord's work, baby. Cool. All right. So we got a lot to talk about because yesterday was, I thought, a little bit of a snooze fest. And, we're getting kind of a snooze fest open over here. You can see the Dow is actually holding trend here. But on the QQQ, I would say yesterday was kind of like an inside day. And that's, I think that's probably the worst spot to be in. So we do got to be a little bit careful today. We have no catalyst yet on, bouncing this thing. No catalyst yet on bouncing this thing. And we were all ready for it. And the market looked fantastic a couple days ago. And then it became unfantastic, right? So, we had this beautiful breakout that was setting up here. And man, look at that. It's all a hot mess. So we got a little bit of a gap down this morning. I think we're going to be just in for kind of another day like yesterday. Boom. All right, all right. So we're right at yesterday's lows. We're going to open up there. So we're kind of in a little bit of a weird spot here where, we have all this room down to the 200-day moving average. I'm really thinking probably the lower Bollinger Band is going to be the better. I think it's going to be the better spot. So let's go in and just let's go in here and just get a little bit of look at the SPY. You can see here, same thing. Now the SPY's in an interesting location, and I think this is where we might, if we can hold today, we could set up for the bounce. So if you see here, like after we came back all this way back and tested the all-time highs, we're rolling right back into the 50-day moving average, and we spent 3 days there just marinating. When you get a couple days where you can like just hold out somewhere, you end up with, I think, what's just a good spot. So I'm interested in, I'm interested in this. If we start to hold here, if we start to hold here, we get any kind of upside traction, right? So we want to start looking at shorter term time frames, and what we want to be doing is, starting to see like the key would be if we remounted the 9 EMA, but that's a little bit far, right? So what we want to start to do is see if we start to just marinate a little bit there, and then we'll have like a little bit of a hoot and nanny. Hey, Michael, what you watching over there, buddy? Let me see here. This PayPal that you got, it looks really nice. Hey, Michael Hull just posted this, look on PayPal. I think this is probably the best looking chart out of the large caps. Yeah, that's a good look there. That's a good look there. If we start coming in like kind of out of the 73.25, like we're going to be, I think we'll be in a good spot. Let's see. What else? What else we got here? Crowd, it looks okay, brother. This is to me like a nasty McGee right now because it's kind of in a weird spot. So I think you kind of leave that one alone. Tesla does look good too. I think Tesla and PayPal are probably the two that look the best. You have a range break here setting up on Tesla, and if you can get over there, I think you're in for a good spot. Not the hottest of chart. Like if you look back, right? Tesla's one of those things like it's just something that people are obsessed with, but it doesn't necessarily mean like it's like some big stud. It's just that it's the cream of the crap right now. We don't got much else to do. And so you have this spot here. You have this spot here. And sure, like if we break here, we've got all this room kind of up into these zones. But it's not like it's like some big hot shot breakout stock, right? If you look here on a longer term basis, I mean, this is just a big multi-year range, right? So it topped out in 2021. I mean, we're entering the last quarter of 2024. It's fine, but it's not like some epic thing, right? Like it's not like some big hot stock anymore. It's a stock that's in range that happens to, have like a little bit of a mini setup. It becomes important. Like you want to differentiate between, right, the big setups and the mini setups. I think that's probably a little bit more, right, of a mini McGee. All right, let's take a look here. So on the QQQ, I think we've got really nothing unless we just start to curl and remount this 9 EMA. To me, it's guilty till proven innocent, right? Anytime you have a stock, you have a market, and it's under the 50-day moving average, under it, and you have a declining 50-day moving average, to me, that means that the market is guilty till proven innocent. And so what we're doing is in those phases, we're playing defensive, right? You've got to play super defensive because you don't have, when you're above the 50 or when the trend is going up like this and your MAs are curling, what often will happen is the market will gap up every day. The dips get bought, like everything tends to work out and your setups will work really clean. And the market gets really, it gets really nice every day, right? when you're under the 50-day moving average, you get a lot of gap downs, and you have a lot. The VIX is usually a little bit elevated, and so you have a little bit more, fugazis that are happening, and so you do want to be just really careful, like that you're not being overly aggressive because you see like one hot setup, like a setup even like this on Tesla, like it's okay, right? So I give it a B plus, and it's the best out of the shit, right? So there's not much out, and so it's the cream of the crap. But it's not like this is not something like you just go balls deep and hold it, and you do all this stuff like that's not. We're not in that market right now, and we may not be till we get some clarification on what's happening with the Fed and stuff like that. My personal belief is when they cut rates, we might get like a momentarily kind of pop, and then probably the market sells off. And that's a wild guess, but usually these kind of things are seldom news events. Now, let's take a look and see if we got any good gappers or anything like that, and let's start digging in. APLD, look at this bad boy. So look, this stock has 10 million shares in volume. It's quite a bit, right? It's a pretty low float stock. It's in the big nasty range. Like this is, you know, if you like small caps, you can do it. They just got their earnings out of the way, so you got a PR out on this thing. Could you do this? Sure. Is it hot? Not really. Like you're opening up into the 200-day moving average. You're kind of in no man's land. Have you break over the 200 hold, like maybe get up to 7 or something like that? But there's no getting around it that this stock is like, a big gelatinous turd. So it looks okay, but is that really how you want to live your life? Right? Is that how you want to live your life? Trading APLD? Probably not. I think we can get a little bit juicier on these things. FFIE, this is also a pump and dump. Remember this. Like, look at the long-term trend on this. Sure, it'll gap up. It'll have a momentarily one big day, but you're not going to necessarily get, right? You're not necessarily going to get like these you know, huge moves out of this anymore, unless they had like something game changing. And even then, they're going to sell into it. So, just got to be mindful. Like, it's a turd. Yes. Look at this bad boy. See, this is another one that's like, it gaps up quite a bit, but they always fail. So like, it's not really anything worth doing. And you can see like how the market's dead, right? There's like very few movers in the pre-market, and everything that is doing something is stuck in range. And so that's where we're at with the market. And so we do want to be just a little bit mindful that this is not the time to push it. You want to push it when you see like look at this. Now this I could be into. Look. Lost narrows, revenues rise, shares slump after hours. And the reason I'm into this is like, see how you're kind of clearing out all these ranges here, right? So you got this like nasty dump here, and you're clearing out these ranges. Now it's down 20%. So it's like we've probably got to pop a little bit at the open. And then, we watch and see how it reacts around the MAs. But this is more clean, right? You're clearing out levels. You're marinating below a spot that's been kind of hanging out for about a year and some change, right? And so now all these bounces towards this level tend to get faded off. That ends up being like a good spot. So I think that's something we definitely want to. I think that's definitely something we want to be taking a look at. Hey, let's take a look here. Let me I'll bring up the jobs report in a second, my brother, my Indian brother. Give me a second. We'll look that up. I was going to go into it after we kind of dig into some of these stocks. So let's add this AI. I think it's got a decent look. Not an epic setup because it's already down 20%, but it's something. Now this NSCC, this is probably a big turd. It doesn't do enough liquidity for us. Yo, what's up with this? Fiscal swings to non-GAAP earnings, revenue rise, outlook set. This stock did do about 3 million shares yesterday. It sucks to trade though, but it might be. Man, it's a weird location. I give a pass. Fiber. Yeah, not much going on this bad boy either. Hags. Now this I can get into. See, downgrades pegged underweight. This stock's a big turd. You got actually a level that it's got a great name though. It's got a level that you're breaking under here. It's a South American stock, but it's got a big level that's clearing out, and you got room down to even the 7. If you like a little bit of a cheaper name, then you got something there. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Yeah, you could add it. STNE, this is a big turd. If you like a little bit of a cheaper name, this company is a big turd. You got a PR out on this bad boy too. And you got a level out here that it's clearing. You got decent liquidity, already 300,000 shares. Like you could roll with this bad boy. You could do it. That's not so bad. So I'd add these two if you like a little bit of a cheaper name. Both of those have a chance to kind of go back over silver. Silver stocks up to trade. CPR10. This is a test short ETF. This is short ETF. Bitcoin's a done right now too. I would just leave all the Bitcoin stuff alone. There ain't nothing going on those. Look at this Hewlett. I don't like those. See, like how it's just open up at the 200-day moving average? It's gonna be like kind of a weird spot. I think this was earnings out yesterday. So if it breaks under the 200, I think you're in. You can do it, but it's got to break under. If it doesn't, then you got to leave it alone. But let's add that for now. Space Mobile. So look, they announced their flight plan, and it sold off a little bit end of day. It's got still a good looking chart. I'd see like how this flag tightens up here. You can see how you kind of building out this flag here. If you take out this kind of range, I think it's back to it. But I think once you're into this, like you're kind of stuck inside a range, I'd leave it alone till it breaks. Let's see. Like if it goes red to green, I'd start looking at it, like keep an alert there, and then you can kind of roll in and see like what happens. Otherwise, just I'd leave it alone. Space Mobile. Dude, what a great name though. So on this, you're down 3%. Let's take a look. Like what we need to do on this, I mean the exact play is gonna be okay. So you're down 3%. It's gonna have to go red to green and kind of take out this range. First, it's got to go red to green. That's 33. And then it's going to have to take out this range. So you got multiple pieces of things that you're going to have to do on this. They did do a little bit of I think it looks 3% mixed shelf offering. Anybody see how big the offering was? And of course, they're going to do an offering. I mean, this is like this company's been up 1,000, 2,000%, right? So doing an offering is, I mean, that's in the cards for it. That was pretty much expected. If somebody wants to look up how big that offering was, we'll take a little gander and see if we got something. But I'd add it for now. Let's see. I'll look that up in a little bit. These are all crypto stocks. Look at this AstraZeneca. Coins also. And the coin's an interesting one because it's down a lot of days in a row now. If the market bounces today, guys, all right? Hey, Janesh, I'm going to look that up in a second. If the market bounces today, this is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days in a row. And you're right back into the old low from the August, what was this, August 5th, I believe, the August 5th rebound. So it's been 1 month, and you're retesting down here. See how you're below the lower Bollinger Bands? When you got a spot like that, you can get a little bit of a juicy coming in. Like that's got a good look to it. If the market bounces, see, you got 4 stochastics on this. So you're about as oversold as you can be, right? I mean, anything under 20 is oversold. anything under 10 is like a big stretch. And so you got a support spot right there. I'm into this. Like if we can get any kind of location on this, any kind of inkling that the market might bounce, then this has got a spot on it. Because this is like your classic, it's a classic rubber band setup. That's a good look right there. Dude, let's add this. What do you think? That's a good look. Let's add this to the watch list. That's top of the list. So how you want to play this, right? You need the market itself to bounce. Ideally you flush this thing off. All right? You flush this thing off. This thing was 210 bucks just a little bit ago. You flush this thing off. Maybe you get down into this range and then you stretch out that rubber band just a little bit and then you start watching for a rebound, right? And so you want to watch for like a little bit of like a W pattern, a little bit of a double bottom, some type of snappy McGee. And so that would be your first trigger. Then the second trigger would be, of course, if you go red to green and you start the hold. The third becomes if you hold the red to green spot and the first dip gets bought. So you pop up, that first dip gets bought, and so you can kind of layer into that. And then look, the 9 EMA on this is at 179. So you got about 20 points of room. Now, this is the hardest type of setup to do. Counter trend bounce setups is tough. It requires a certain level of finesse that is just difficult for most people. That it's much easier for most people to just trade trends, but there are not that many trends right now. And so when there's not that many trends, all of the sudden things get a little bit dicey. Arvin, I'll catch up with you later. I was traveling yesterday. Dude, let's add this. Let me see what the other crypto stocks doing. The rest of them suck to trade, but they have the same setup. So, like, see the CLSK kind of drifting below the lower Bollinger Band. Mara, both of these have similar setups, but they just stink to trade, right? The ATRs on them are really weird. They're a little bit compressed. I think we can just get a little bit more juice with the cryptos. Guys, there's not very many PRs out. Let's take a look and see what the juice is on this jobs report. All right. Let me switch tabs here. Hey, pal, no JNUG, man. It stinks to trade. It really stinks to trade. There's no getting around it. All right, so ADP private payrolls misses expectations, lowest since January 2021. In the pre-market, you can see there's just a handful of stocks that are up. On the downside, you got a couple bleeders here, AI, SMCI. SMCI looks like it could break down. It just sucks to trade. It's been really difficult, but there's a level at 400. There's a level at 400 that I think could be a spot. So beyond that, you don't have very many things going on, right? NVIDIA company spokesperson says this company did not receive a DOJ antitrust subpoena. That's full of shit. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, I'll take a look. Hey, Kelsey, how you doing? Give me like 2 minutes and we'll dig into some of those. So you see here, rates are down again as U.S. equity futures come off another back and forth session between swings and gains. Auto sales, junk, factory orders. None of this stuff matters for us personally. So let's get back into this. So this is a very, very precarious spot. And the reason is that the market is not probably going to break down, but it doesn't necessarily look like it's going to ramp either, Kelsey. And so what I mean by that is that there are times to just push the chips in, right? When you get like these nice trends and you kind of get like this like shading that's, big and green. Now what's happening is we're stuck inside a range. So like how you want to look at the range is, this is the top, this is the bottom, right? And so you're smack dab right in the middle. And so you're not even close to the top where you can kind of short it down. And you're not at the bottom where you can buy the dip. And so we're right in that middle. And that tells me that the market itself is in a big, like, wait and see kind of mode. And so there's not any big bets to be made right now. If you did want to short the market, you have stuff like SQQ, and you can see here, this is a decaying instrument. So you can't hold these very long. They're really for day trading or just like 2 or 3 day holds because they actually decay. So if the market just goes sideways, these actually will go down as there's a decay on them. So you want to be a little bit careful. So these are fine for like day trading instruments, maybe even doing like 2 or 3 day holds, but they don't do very well like if you try to hold them long term. And then so this is TZA. So this shorts the Russell 2000, right? And so you can see on this too, right? You're kind of just stuck in range here. And does it look okay? Sure. But does it look like anything we need to jump into? No. So if you look at the IWM is right on support right now. So you had that big nasty day. Now you got a couple days on support. But if you look at this, like, you're really just stuck in between these ranges, like, once again, right? And so we have no huge edge. So the things that you want to do when there's no huge edge, guys, is you want to trade, very quickly, and you want to trade things with catalysts, right? You want to look and see, like, okay, what's got a catalyst out there that can buck the market, right? Yo, young Odie, what up? You want to find things that could buck the market, right? And there are still a handful of good-looking setups out there, and I think that's where we want to be. Our focus is. And so I've got a couple here that I think are going to be good, right? So you have potentially, if the market can hold, this PayPal. So you got to break out here. You got to break out here, right? It's about 73.50 to 74. If it can hold over that. Dang, you nasty trading APLD. You dirty. Go take a shower. I'm just teasing, buddy. Now, beyond that, what else we got? I think this Affirm is an interesting one. All right. So you have, I was hoping for one more down day on this. So you have this big trend line break that kind of came out. It had a power move on earnings, right? 50, 60 million shares. And you had a really nice 2-day run. Now, if you look here, you're pulling back the last 2 days on lower volume, and they've been pretty orderly. Like yesterday, it spiked up a little bit, and it kind of just dribbled off for a few bucks, but it's been orderly. It's not been like a crashy pullback. This is a good God-fearing Christian pullback right here. This is where I think you can make, a little bit of juice. So, I want to see a couple things on this, right? Number one, I can't chase this bad boy up, but let's see if you start to hold on this 39 and start to build. I think you might have something. If the market just dumps off, it may need to test into the 9 EMA. That's a much better location because you got kind of the bottom of the breakout bar and you got the 9 EMA there. So like your ideal spot is closer to 37, but it may not wait. When you have a hot little number, sometimes they just do what they're gonna do. I think you see here, just kind of building up flag over here. Look, these trend lines are usually bullshit, right? We just draw them to make ourselves like look smart, right? It's kind of like indicators, like kind of add some indicators so people know what you're doing. They think that you know what you're doing, but they don't really do that much, right? So we have ourselves a little bit of a spot here. I think somewhere into this zone, we want to start looking on shorter time frames to see if we congeal and we get it. So I got some levels drawn out here, 37, 38, and then we've got this 39. We can kind of come into that space. We're in for a good spot. I think that's probably, dude, that's the hot stock, right? That's the hot stock that we want to be. That's the hot stock that we want to be a part of. Dude, that's a good looking number. Now look, on the semiconductor end, there's this SMTC, right? All the semiconductors have been shit. But this SMTC, it had its earnings out. So you had this big power push. And then look what's happened here. You had a multi-day pullback into the 9 EMA. You got a flat open on this one. This one's got pretty much every sign that it's going to have some more upside. And the reason for that is that once you digest this kind of earnings and you congeal, even with the market pullback, this has had no shape, right? And so this is where we want to be. Like we want to be really digging into stocks like this. I think you've got a chance on this bad boy to do a little bit of a hoot and nanny. So this is my number two, right? This is my number two look. So firm is number one. I think this is my number two. And then I'm really kind of digging this Adobe too. I think that this one has a chance to make a little bit of a pre-earnings run. You only got about a week here. But if the market holds, and that's a big if, right? We don't necessarily know. But if the market holds, I think about 580. Let's just pretend this one didn't happen there. I think about 580 can be something. So let's add that bad boy in too. So we got PayPal, we got Affirm, we got SMTC, we got Adobe, and look, Roku has a PR out today, and this I'm into. Right, Roku's got a PR out today, and I believe it was Robbie. Was it with the NFL? Let's see here. Let me look this up real quick for you guys. Roku. That was before. So today it got an upgrade from Wells Fargo, which that can actually do it. And then you got kickoff NFL season with NFL Zone on Roku. You got a couple things going for you. You got a little bit of an upgrade, and you got this little NFL thing going. This has a chance. Let's add this to the watch list here. I want to add this one in too. We got Roku, we got Affirm, we got SMPC, we got Adobe. These are all good lookers, right? And then we've got Coin for the rubber band loan. Oh, I don't know what that was. Well, this is done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row. Man, that's nice, right? If the market goes, any of these will work, and we've got ourselves a little bit of a hoot and yanny, right? So those are the best for the long. Now, on the short side, there's a couple that I think we can roll with here, right? On the short side, we got to be a little bit more careful. And so what I mean by that is, let's take a look here at some of these kind of big boys. Tesla looks okay. If you like large caps, do this. Guys, large caps have been hard to trade lately. They're infinitely harder to trade recent than really any other kind of, stock. So I'm kind of leaving them alone. But you see here, they're just kind of a little bit stuck in range. They're not necessarily dying, but they're not really doing anything either, right? Like they're just kind of holding. And so that tells me we're in a wait and see zone, right? Google here, this is at some support here, and you're down about 5 days in a row. That could be something. You got 5 stochastics. If you want to do a large cap, watch this zone here. It's an inflection point, whether it's a rollover spot or a support, you will be more dependent on the market. My guess is that, because it's down so many days in a row, it's not going to roll over per se. Whenever you short something that's down like 5, 6 days in a row, it's usually a dud, right? So just got to be mindful of that. I think that's probably more of maybe a double bottom. Meta's on the 50-day moving average. Microsoft, see this? It's just a 30 McGee. It's marinating under this 200-day moving average. So if we need, if the market flushes, this will probably flush off with it. But once again, Microsoft moves 1% a day. You got to do options on it. Otherwise, it's really not worth it. NVIDIA also stuck in range. Look, it's been down a lot of days in a row too. I think it shook off that DOJ thing, but it'd be nice. I think my thinking is 100 at the lower Bollinger Band. You're right near 100. That's the spot to take a shot at this. There's a lot of support in that area. It's between 100 and kind of 97. That's where you want to start to load into that thing, right? Like start looking at 100 and between 100 and 97 and look for those kind of short term, right? Look for a little bit of a short term rolling and see if you've got something there. And then AMD has also been just drifting down. So these are all kind of bear flags for the most part, but they're kind of grindy bear flags. So I don't know if they're necessarily, you play these as just market specific things, meaning that wherever the market goes, these go. So if the market dumps, these dump. If the market goes up, they're going to go up. So there's not that much thinking to it. It's more market specific. My thought is that, for you guys, it's probably better when the market is showing confliction. It's probably a little bit better to just find stocks that could buck the market where you don't have to watch the market like tick by tick. So that you can actually just go out and trade charts and do what you got to do. Yeah, I'm not at home. I'm in the Airbnb in Colorado. I'm like, you'd see me all spruced up. And my little guy, dude, he liked to be up last night. AVGO, yeah. Let's see. Let's take a look. AVGO does have earnings out too. You got a little bit of a breakdown. Tarun, happy birthday. Happy birthday, buddy. Yeah, and look, so this isn't a big long range too, right? So it's just not like the easiest catalyst. The earnings will tell us, if this thing dumps on earnings tomorrow, then it'll take the 70 down with it. But in the most part, these are just big long ranges and they're just stuck in. How about I'm into? You just said that. I think this you want to add to your list too. Joey Barafuco. This is hot. So look, you got a 110 hold here. And it's just been holding and holding and building, right? Then beyond that, like you've got this kind of nice rounding that's happening here. While the market has been acting like a little bit of a fugazi, this thing has been, I think it's been holding up pretty good, right? So you got a couple things that you can do on this. Like this is where you will probably want, right? While the market's been doing a fugazi, this stock has been marinating at this 110, just building, right? Building that power. If you can clear, let's go to a 15-minute chart. If you can clear this 115, dude, you're in it. You are in it. That's hot. I mean, that might be top of the list if the market holds up. Dude, that's hotter than a goose's caboose, right? Add that, people. You guys, everybody should have that on their watch list. Let me see this fiber. Take a showers on it. All these years. Fiber. Is that the ticker? Oh, FYBR. My bad, brother. FYBR. This looks like stress to me. This looks like stress to me. You can do it, but for myself, I'm too old, too bald. Well, I'm not fat, but too old, too bald, and too jacked to really be messing with this thing. I can't do it. I have to have baby number 2 soon, probably. Right? I can't let my little guy be an only child. I can't lose my nuts on this one. This one, I think we probably leave alone. Hey, pal, let me take a look at GTLB. You could do a day 2 on this. Just beware of the 200-day moving average. All right. So, guys, let's kind of narrow this thing down. You got coins. You got a fire. You got the PayPal. You got the Kava. You got the Kava. And then you got SMTC, right? So those are the longs. If you need the shorts, and then you got Roku too. So on the second 6 windows, go Roku. SMTC. Oh, yeah. You can do all of these kind of things. I'm kind of thinking MU is probably done. It's been going down for a few days in a row. You're at support here. If it loses this, then you'll get a kind of quick dump. But it is a little bit oversold. Like, you don't want to short really when the stochastics are at a 7. I think you probably just have a little bit easier plays. All right, brothers and sisters, I got to run. I'll be in the Discord room doing the Lord's work here. Holy. Yes, you guys, we got Labor Day sales still going for the chat room. Come on in and do what we do. I love you guys. Let's go do this, people. I'll be on Discord. I'm putting in a Zoom link right now. We're running a little bit behind. Big Daddy's got to freshen up some cafe, but let's go have some fun today. Let's go have some fun. I got to make some money. I was off yesterday.